Yellowstone Supervolcano Eruption. The Doomsday scenario. You need to know about Yellowstone Supervolcano is one of the most powerful and dangerous places on Earth. It has the potential to cause mass extinction and wipe out human civilization in an instant. In this video, we will explore what would happen if Yellowstone erupted and why it is so important for you to know about this potential disaster. So first off, what even is the Yellowstone Supervolcano? Well, it's not actually one volcano, but three that are all located in the same area in Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. The three volcanoes are collectively known as the Yellowstone Supervolcano. The magma chamber beneath the park is the size of Los Angeles and is about 43 miles or 70 kilometers below the surface. According to the United States Geological Survey, this magma chamber extends over an area of roughly 2,300 square miles, or 6,000 square kilometers. That's the size of Connecticut and Rhode Island combined, and it's so big that it could fit all of Yellowstone National Park inside of it with room to spare. Now before we continue, make sure to subscribe for more updates. Also, please consider supporting us because it really helps us grow. Thanks, guys. So how do we know there's a super volcano under Yellowstone National Park? Well, it's because of its history. The park sits above a so-called hotspot, which is an area of unusually high volcanic activity. This means that there are lots of hot springs and geysers in the area, such as Old Faithful. But it also means that there have been lots of volcanic eruptions in the past. In fact, there have been at least 20 major eruptions at Yellowstone National Park over the past 2 million years. These eruptions have created some of the most spectacular features in the park, such as the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone River and the vast open spaces of the caldera. The largest of these eruptions was the Lava Creek eruption, which occurred around 640,000 years ago and is responsible for creating the Yellowstone caldera, also known as the Yellowstone Supervolcano. Yellowstone's eruptions have always been pretty big, but there is evidence that they are getting bigger. For example, the last major eruption at Yellowstone occurred about 13,000 years ago and was about 10 times more powerful than any eruption in recorded human history. If you want to see how big it was, take a look at this. If the largest recorded eruption in human history was a level 8 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index, then the last eruption of Yellowstone was a level 9. And scientists believe that this trend will continue and that the next eruption will be even more powerful than the last. What makes Yellowstone so dangerous is the fact that it could erupt at any time without warning. Scientists monitor the volcano closely for signs of increased activity, but they can only predict with about a week's notice when the next eruption will occur. This means that people living in the surrounding areas need to be prepared for a major disaster at all times. Yellowstone National Park is home to some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. It's also home to some of the most dangerous animals in North America. So if you ever visit, be sure to stay safe by following these simple tips. Don't get too close to the geysers or hot springs. They may look like fun, relaxing pools of water, but they are extremely hot and can burn your skin right off. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. There are bears, bison, and wolves in Yellowstone National Park. And if you're not careful, you could end up being their next meal. Don't feed the wildlife. It's illegal, and it puts both you and the animals at risk. If Yellowstone were to erupt today, it would cause a level 8 eruption on the Volcanic Explosivity Index. This would make it one of the largest volcanic eruptions in history, and it would have devastating consequences for people and wildlife in the surrounding areas. Here's what would happen if Yellowstone National Park erupted. In an instant, the ground would shake as molten rock and ash billowed into the air. The force of the eruption would be so strong that it would throw rocks and debris as far away as Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming. People within 50 miles of the volcano would be completely obliterated. Those who are further away would still be affected by the falling debris. The sky would turn dark as day as the ash cloud spread across the region. People would struggle to breathe as the fine ash particles filled their lungs. The weight of the ash would eventually cause the roofs of buildings to collapse. Cities like Bozeman, Billings, and Missoula would be buried under a thick layer of ash. As the ash settled, the temperature would begin to drop. Plants would wither and die as the soil became covered in a thick layer of ash. Animals would flee the area or become trapped under the ash. The nearby rivers and lakes would become contaminated with toxic chemicals from the volcano. Many people would die from exposure to the toxic gases and ash. Others would perish from the collapsing buildings and infrastructure. Those who survived the initial blast would face another threat: starvation. With the plants dead and the animals gone, there would be nothing to eat in the surrounding areas. Some people would try to flee the area, but they would soon find that the roads were impassable due to the ash and debris. With no food or water, people would be forced to stay in their homes and wait for help that might never come. But there was also the possibility that the supervolcano would create a massive tsunami that would devastate the entire west coast of the United States. Here's what would happen if a mega tsunami struck the west coast. A series of earthquakes would precede the arrival of the tsunami, shaking the ground beneath people's feet. People would feel the ground shake violently as the waves approached. Some would try to flee inland, but the tsunami would be too fast and too powerful. Coastal towns would be completely wiped out in seconds as the tsunami waves crashed ashore. Homes, businesses, and other structures would be swept away by the raging waters. Cars would be tossed around like toys as the tsunami waves crashed over them. People who were caught in their cars would be swept away or crushed by the debris. Those who were able to escape the initial wave would face another danger as the water receded. Debris from the tsunami would be pushed ashore, causing fires and explosions. Gas lines would rupture, causing some cars and buildings to explode. People would be injured or killed by the flying debris. Many would also be injured or killed by the collapsing buildings and infrastructure. The tsunami would also cause widespread power outages and communication blackouts, making it difficult for people to get help. Fires would rage across the coastal communities as the tsunami waves crashed ashore and destroyed the local fire stations and emergency services. People would be forced to flee their homes and seek shelter inland. The tsunami would also contaminate the water supply, making it unsafe to drink. This would lead to widespread disease and death as people became dehydrated. The tsunami would also destroy crops and other sources of food, leading to starvation. Some people would try to flee the area, but the roads would be blocked by debris and the bridges would be destroyed. People would be forced to stay in their homes and wait for help that might never come. And finally, the supervolcano would cause a global climate change that would affect everyone on the planet. The dust and ash from the eruption would block the sun's rays, causing temperatures to drop dramatically. Crops would fail and famine would spread across the globe. People would be forced to abandon their homes and flee to warmer climates. The climate change caused by the supervolcano would also cause sea levels to rise, causing even more devastation. In conclusion, if the Yellowstone supervolcano were to erupt today, it would cause a massive disaster for people and wildlife in the surrounding areas. The eruption would cause widespread destruction, death, and starvation. A mega tsunami would devastate the west coast of the United States, and global climate change would affect everyone on the planet. It is important to remember that Yellowstone National Park is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. While it is truly a beautiful place, it is also home to some of the most powerful forces of nature. Thank you for watching this video. We hope that you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button below to let us know. We also hope that you will subscribe to our channel so that you can learn about more amazing places around the world. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.